Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Tyler. I am coming with another video request, and this is from an individual named T-LowCTI. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I'm asking you to forgive me for mispronouncing your name. And that I just want to sit here and I want to say to this particular person, T-LowCTI, I want to thank you for taking the time to ask me to do a video request pertaining to why do narcissists come into our lives, and that I'm not just only doing it for this particular individual's sake, but for every single person out there that is probably looking for a legit answer pertaining to this particular topic or subject. And I just want to go on ahead and get started to why do narcissists come into our lives? And this is reason number one. And the first reason why that they come into our lives is simply because that these type of narcissist people or these type of narcissist individual have found an individual as a target. And what do I mean by target? In other words, this narcissist individual probably have watched you and found you as a nice particular individual. In other words, someone that a narcissist individual that they can take advantage of, because this is the number one thing that a narcissist take advantage of whenever they come into a particular individual's life. In other words, they find that person as a particular nice person, and then sometimes a narcissist person can hear a word or two or three or four people that, okay, that particular person is real nice, and then that narcissist individual sit there and say, to themselves, I can capitalize on taking advantage of that particular that person, and that particular person is somebody that can be ran over real quickly. And let me just go on ahead into the second reason why narcissists come into our lives. In other words, a narcissist individual, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to tell you, the main thing what they're looking for when they come into a particular person's life, in other words, how to manipulate and to use you for their own selfish gain. That's one of the main top reasons why they come into your life, is because they find specific weaknesses and they find specific areas where they can find in order to manipulate and use you for their own selfish gain, and not even thinking about how they're hurting you in the long run. Because, mind you, understand this, that a narcissist person is a selfish and a self-centered person. They always think, well, the whole world all evolves around them, not even thinking about nobody else and how they're feeling in the long run whenever they are using that particular person for their own manipulation and own selfish gain. And that I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to tell you the next reason why narcissists come into our lives. And I'm just going to sit here, I'm going to say this, and I know this is another reason that a lot of you people are not going to like me saying, and you know that this is the truth. If you have been a narcissist person in the past, using somebody for your selfishness and using that particular person for your self-centered gains, then in other words, then you will find the universe will orchestrate a meeting between you and another narcissist person, simply because that you did some things in the past to a particular individual out of your own selfishness, out of your own manipulation, and then the universe which is the laws of karma, is letting it come back unto you what you did unto that other person. And this is another main reason why that particular narcissist person comes into your life. I know that a lot of you people hate hearing that, but that is the truth. Because if that narcissist individual come into your life and you sitting there saying, what in the world was you thinking at first when you had it good at first, and then that person came back, that person that you had met treated you like garbage and everything, and then I'm going to sit here, I'm going to tell you that when you probably done gotten that revelation on what you was thinking and everything, the person that you probably might run back to in the past that treated you well, it might be too late then, because that person going to sit there and say, fuck you, I ain't got time for you. Even though you might have changed, that person, there's a 90% chance that that person ain't going to change their outlook about you, what you've done to them. at all. And I just want to sit here and go into the next and the final reason why narcissists come into your life or our lives. In that, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you something, that there's one specific thing that when a narcissist come into your life is that, in other words, that person think that they can control your life. Whenever you have a meeting with a narcissist, in other words, this is one of the main reasons why, in other words, they can kind of distinct that you can be controlled, or they can kind of distinct that due to that being, you being controlled, in other words, they feel like they run your life and that you don't have a life. I know that this doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but this is true. And I'm just going to go on ahead and cut this video short, and I hope that a lot of you people enjoyed this video. And I just want to sit here and I want to tell all of you people that if you have not checked out my other channel, T-LowCTI, which is about a lot of safety tips, which is talked about 85% of the time on the channel, I give you the invitation to please check out my other channel in the description link down below. And all of you that like this video and enjoyed this video, I give you the invitation to please subscribe to this channel, because you'll receive content on a weekly basis. Thank you, and have a great and awesome evening, people.